Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shills, debt slaves, serfs, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. Let's start out with welcome. I'm a useful idiot. Let's talk about Turkey. And actually, we're going to talk about Turkey and we're going to talk about the globe. And this video is being done because of this whole incident with Erdogan, the president of Turkey, who has instigated Germany to potentially prosecute a comedian who insulted President Erdogan. And I just think this whole idea is so preposterous that our leaders around the world, as it turns out, there's these laws on the books that make it illegal to insult them or to disrespect them. I thought, how pompous, how presumptuous, what a great symptom of what the state represents when they have to outlaw anybody saying anything bad about some of these dipshits that run these governments. And Erdogan is a perfect example. Apparently, he's filed nearly 2,000 lawsuits in Turkey against mostly journalists and activists. And there's a couple articles that they use in Turkey. Article 299, you can get up to 4 years in prison for defaming the president. So, what kind of world is this where, the president of a country, it's like, maybe I insult him here on YouTube. Hey, fuck you. Erdogan, I hate you. Is he going to press charges against me and have me arrested and put in prison for 4 years? The very idea is just preposterous, although here we are in a world where that actually exists. And so Germany apparently is considering this. And I also thought it was interesting to look at the Article 301 of the Turkish Penal Code, because Turkey is one of the worst examples of this. They really take this insulting leaders in the state very seriously. In Article 301, it's illegal to insult Turkey, the Turkish nation, a Turkish government institution, the military, and the police. So you can't really talk about anything about the state, any of the state's representatives. And apparently there's been 60 cases. I have some great links below about some of the background here, the 60 cases that very high-profile cases that are highlighted about what's going on in Turkey. And this law is fairly new, so this is something that Erdogan particularly was interested in. June 1st, 2005, all this goes on, and I have to laugh at the language as well. Initially, the Article 301 talked about insult Turkishness. What a great phrase, insult Turkishness. But I'm not insulting Turkishness when I say fuck you, Erdogan. But let's look at I did a little background, and it's kind of fascinating, this whole thing. It's called Lise Majesté, and it means injured majesty. And this whole concept of insulting governments and kings throughout history apparently goes way back to Rome, I guess the first use, actually. And no surprise there. I'm sure citizens have been insulting these leaders, and the tradition goes on. It's probably one of the more consistent threads in human evolution that we insult our leaders. So they've responded throughout history by creating these laws. The crime of violating majesty, an offense against the dignity of a reigning sovereign or state. And I find that amusing as well. The dignity of a reigning sovereign. You mean like when Bill Clinton was busted for having an intern give him blowjobs? We're supposed to be not violating his majesty or dignity. And of course, these injured majesty laws were prevalent in Rome, and they were prevalent in all the European absolute monarchies that ended up toppling after World War I. And then in modern totalitarian states, of course, we see extremes of that. You can bet in Stalinist Russia and Hitler's Germany, they don't even need a law to haul you off for insulting their leaders. And in modern times, even in so-called neoliberal states, we have injured majesty laws in the sense that we have treason laws. A lot of what used to be injured majesty is now just rolled into being a traitor. So, it was surprising to find out that how widespread, but once you think about it, I guess it's not surprising. Germany, Switzerland, Poland, Italy, it's illegal to insult foreign heads of state publicly, and that's why Germany is involved in this current situation with Erdogan. In Denmark, they have these laws in their penal code. In Netherlands, they have them in their penal code. A lot of these countries have them in their penal codes, but generally the record in most Western countries is that these laws are kind of given lip service, and they're not really abused too much. But we do see some instances. There's a great anecdote in Netherlands. The injured majesty clause was used against one 47-year-old man who spent 1 week in prison and got 400 euros in fines for calling Queen Beatrix, quote, a whore, and told police officer he would have anal sex with her because she would like it, unquote. So great story there. And then Norway, Spain, Thailand, Malaysia, Jordan, Morocco, they all have these injured majesty laws. China, of course, has these laws. No way to measure really how many people are punished there for criticizing the government or Chinese leaders. Even in France, you can get up to a 45,000 euro fine for insulting the president. And we also have Saudi Arabia. Well, they're one of the more egregious examples, and I would even suggest they're worse than Turkey, because a lot of people are beheaded publicly for merely criticizing the Saud family, the royal family in Saudi Arabia. Their laws are very harsh, just as you would be surprised. And there's a lot of other countries that are pretty harsh too. In Kuwait, you can get permanent exile. In Bahrain, you can get 7 years in prison. In Venezuela, you can get 4 years in prison. Lebanon, 2 years in prison, a $60,000 fine. Azerbaijan, you can get 2 years of hard labor. And Japan, of course, has their version of that now, criticizing their handling of Fukushima is considered some sort of national security threat, and that's just another example of injured majesty laws. And boy, one of the best ones I like is, of course, Iran. If you insult one of the Iranian leaders, you get 74 lashes in public. So way to go, Iran. So there you have it. A little background on this whole preposterous idea is that we have our elites and our kings and our presidents and our prime ministers and our governments and our government institutions and our militaries and our police forces all demanding respect, so much so that they have to codify it. We as citizens, wow, would it be that we were so lucky, huh? I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too?